Super Smash Bros. Ultimate was provided to me by Nintendo. It's not like that changes this theory or anything, but I legally have to tell you that. Also, I still bought it myself, so now I just have a sealed copy. Thanks, Nintendo. Oh, also, no endgame spoilers in this video, so don't you worry. A Smash Bros. Ultimate lifeform has landed, and he's not from this world. No, not Shadow or Silver, I'm talking Kirby. But what am I talking about? Well, Kirby. I just said it. Well, I'm glad you asked me from a few seconds ago. Glad you asked. As we have developed the ultimate Smash Ultimate World of Light theory. Everyone is dead, and there's nothing you can do about it. You're too late. You may have saved the world, but everyone you saw evaporate right before Kirby's eyes is still disintegrated. Kirby isn't actually in his own world in World of Light. I mean, that goes without saying because it's Smash Bros. Canon, not Kirby canon, but it's complicated. So in the intro of World of Light, we see all of the heroes get approached by Galeem, who then explodes light everywhere, captures all of the fighters besides Kirby, and creates a new world filled with possessed puppets of all the fighters. Kirby was the only one who was able to warp away on the Warp Star and wound up crash landing on the now desolate landscape, where Galeem's evil is law. Now the fool seeks to return the world to its proper order and undo the evil that is Galeem. Gotta get back to the past. Samurai Kirby. The Wutcha. Now, Galeem in and of itself is pretty deep, so that's for a totally different video, as that video is going to have spoilers in it. But we will briefly touch on what it is. But first, in the epic escape scene, Kirby is seen to warp out of danger on his trusty Warp Star. I mean, Galeem's beams theoretically must be about as fast as light, as they are made of light, and they eventually do this. That's faster than light. But if Kirby's Warp Star can go faster than light in order to outrun those beams, then yes, we may have a viable way for him to make it out of there. After all, at faster than light speeds, we get some interesting things happening to physical stuffs. At least theoretically, because we don't know exactly what happens at FTL speeds to physical bodies, but we do know for sure that if you looked backwards while going FTL, you would only see darkness. What's he doing there? What are you doing? You gotta go. Get out of here. Shoo. Other interesting facts, if we go based off of our good old buddy Albert Einstein, we know that E equals mc squared. And we know that the faster you go, the more mass you got. So, if you were to go 90% the speed of light, you would weigh about double. But his theory is all about relativity. But if we were to go faster than light, you wouldn't be able to see anything, so there wouldn't be any way to know or record what's going on, as there are no signals even at microscopic levels. Light's just not fast enough to keep up. And at these speeds, the laws of physics get kinda wonky. So we'll just leave this as, when you go FTL, anything could really happen. Even possibly time travel or interdimensional travel. I mean, Star Trek kind of just explained away all the issues that way. Now if only we could find some dilithium crystals and antimatter. Anyways, we have a super fast heavy star that a small poofy boy is riding so fast that it just blinks out of existence. At least for a while, as he eventually comes back and crash lands in a totally different place. Okay. So let's stop talking science and talk Smash theory, because I mean, who even likes science? Especially when we're talking about Smash Bros. You should check out my series all about the science of Smash Bros. Here. Let me know if you want more of them, because I'll keep doing them. I love doing them. How strong is a Falcon Punch? How fast would Link actually have to spin in order to fly? Shameless plug. I'm pointing out that it's a shameless plug to appear less shameless, and it's funny. But in doing so, it ultimately makes me all the more shameless. So here's the big question that spawned everything. If Kirby was the only one to survive Galeem's death entrapment lasers, then shouldn't in theory, Kirby be completely safe, never captured, and thus no clones would be made of him, right? No puppets for spirits to possess. And yet, we see many Kirby puppets inhabited by spirits. Something's going on. Now, I can't overlook the spirits board as it's just gameplay, but I mean, in World of Light specifically, there's kind of a story going on here, cutscenes, a plot, and then Sakurai just went and ruined the lore because he wants his puffball to be the star, but he also wants his puffball just all over the place. This should not be possible, given the circumstances that we know about. Which brings me back to how warp travel works. It could be possible that Kirby isn't actually in the same universe or world that Galeem took over in the opening cutscene. Rather, he possibly is now an interdimensional traveler that ended up in a world where Galeem has been existent for possibly many years. I mean, that would explain the landscape being so different, along with the fact that there are possessed puppets of Kirby all over the place. The original Kirby of this new dimension got caught, couldn't warp away in time. This, of course, means what I'm sure you've already realized. There's no hope for the universe we see in the opening cutscene. The only hero that escaped left and went off to another dimension of reality and saved that one instead. Though, considering multiverse theory, there's always the possibility that a different Kirby from a different universe came to the universe that we saw and saved it. But because there are Kirby puppets here, that implies that not all Kirbys got away, so not all planes of reality will be saved. Sad. To continue though, time skip and or interdimensional travel sort of explains why Galeem seems pretty comfy in his little shield house, not really doing much, as it's done all that there is to be done for now. After all, nobody got away in this universe. Everyone is here. Even this universe's Kirby. Which just goes into another large issue. Galeem is extremely underprepared when you start to take down its defensive structures. Yeah, sure, Kirby is strong. Heck, the whole dang cast is made up of strong fighters who face world-ending threats regularly, or who are world-ending threats. And Isabelle. But Galeem still managed to get them all with laser blasts. Why couldn't it just get them all again at the very first sign of retaliation? Why does it just kind of send out a few threats at a time, instead of doing the smart thing? Well, as we all know, time is a cruel, cruel mistress, and with time, people get complacent. Even giant monstrous angels of light. Eternity is a long time, dude. I get bored just waiting for the game to load. Thank God for those tooltips. In fact, Galeem itself doesn't even put up much of a fight. Maybe I'm just good, but I beat him with like 6 to 10 DK forward aerials. It just sits there. So complacent with its own demise. Now, this could be because of reasons I'm not going to talk about for now. Pretty much the second half of the story that contains spoilers. So for spoiler reasons, and because it's a totally different topic that I'll be covering in another video, let's skip those details. But if I was in Galeem's shoes, I would immediately squash any resistance. And this possibly is what happens initially, if there even was any. But it's since been many years? Many decades? Half of an eternity? Who knows? And the spirits who inhabit the puppets are only clones after all. Galeem hasn't ever had to stop any uprisings that are led by untainted true form heroes. And it lets its guard down, or becomes bored of its fun, or simply could just not be as powerful as it once was. So, it is completely plausible that Kirby, in trying to escape Galeem in his own timeline, went FTL, and not only went to the speed of light, but went far beyond it, which is why we visibly see him blip out of sight, as we no longer would be able to see him. And then we see that he returns and the world is similar yet different, and along with an undisclosed amount of time having passed, this may not even be the same world anymore. This could mean either Galeem is completely destructive and destroyed everything and created an almost entirely new world, or Kirby has warped into a parallel timeline where that Kirby's warp star wasn't fast enough to escape. Parallel timelines can get pretty weird. I mean, some people claim that every time you make a decision, you are making a new timeline. Personally, I think that's kind of crazy. I mean, like, what if my 13,423rd brain cell signals left instead of up? Would that be a new timeline? Think of the possibilities. Infinity is stupid. Anyway, time travel isn't that far off either, as again, faster than light travel can do things normal physics doesn't allow, as we just can't tell if it's possible or not yet. And perhaps, in this time-traveled but still the same world possibility, the Kirby Galeem cut isn't really Kirby specifically, just another being of Kirby's species. Like Meta Knight. They're out there in the universe somewhere. So, there's two fun possibilities. Everyone in the opening cutscene is dead forever, or the Kirby we fight isn't even a clone of the real Kirby.
And there is another possibility, but it's less fun, and it's that the developers really just don't care that much. The only reason there's a campaign at all is so you toxic Smash fan whiners will shut up about Subspace Emissary and wanting another story mode for 5 seconds. Don't you trash humans want to play your games, not watch them? Ultimately, this campaign is just the previous game's challenges modes, but with a bigger menu disguised as an overworld. They clearly don't care about the lore, story, or consistency, otherwise this Kirby error would never have happened.
Maxwell, could you stop insulting our viewers?
Never!
Alright, well, what are your thoughts? Let me know down below, and for more Smash and Pokemon content, be sure to subscribe and check out these videos. One of these sides of me is the right size. They're good, I promise. Better than this one. And until next time, please remember to never stop using your noggin.